Alright, part two here. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was definitely said in jest when, like, I think me of all people would say you can't, move fast and hit hard is the only way to go. It's just, it's such a lofty ideal, kind of like the noble way of going about it, and it's like, part of what's to say, it's like, yeah, you'll never move faster, never move the fastest or hit the hardest because you've got that mentality that you won't move the faster or hit the hardest. You got to like buy into the ideal completely, and I think like to kind of counter that, the idea of like the special beam cannon, the destructive disc, I think that versatility is definitely like you said, it definitely has its place, it has its purpose, and I like, and 100%, like there's like, when you're fighting a psychic, like without willpower, like a psychic can just take away, your ability to see things or like alter what your mind perceives. Like there's a lot of weaknesses out there that we talk about. But then again, if you're faster than the speed of thought for this psychic, you can just whop him on the head and he's down for the count. But that was also the funny thing with the idea of a spellcaster saying casting a spell to make himself move faster and hit harder while wearing like this dopey looking wizard's cloak and riding around a unicorn. So I'd be upset DM saying casting a spell to make himself hit faster and hit harder. But I think like an interesting side to that is there are absolutely, I think, limits to speed and strength, and I think there's very real racial limits to like what a certain race can achieve, and like we might not fully understand those limits, like game to game or something like that. Like maybe humans have like a form that's nastier than all other races out there you don't know about. Like they can go superhuman, and it's like Super Saiyan 20, and no one's hit it yet. But like, yeah, that I definitely agree. Like that, there's probably limits to your physical body, but I think at that point, there's probably techniques out there that like might be able to surpass your body's limit. Like Kaioken is like the classic example of that, where you basically, and like I mean Kaioken is kind of like a very linear thing when it comes to like progressing. It's like, yeah, you basically pay like this massive strain on your body and your heart, but you boost your power. But like Falcon Punch is another one where it's like you're able to augment yourself, and I think like that could be that like kind of going back to that whole mystic thing, is that might be one of the keys to moving fast and hitting hard, is once you reach your like physical bound by reality, your not reality, your biology, like bound by your biology limits, like you might need to explore other things that let you surpass those limits, or augment the natural physical rules which mysticism is known for, to make yourself move faster and hit harder. So that would definitely be interesting to see. And like I said, it's one of those ones, I don't know how DMs, like other DMs, are about letting you craft your own techniques or come up with your own abilities like that. But like being able to, and obviously like it's probably a lot easier to pick up a special beam cannon and increase your effectiveness rather than coming up with an ability that circumnavigates your own personal limitations to move fast and hit hard, to allow yourself in a burst to move faster and hit harder. But I think it's such a, like I said, I've never been, D&D, I played the wizard, and like I'm notorious for playing people who are not the directly move fast hit hard type. Like I've had some people who like who could get it in physically, but a lot of them tend to be more on the manipulator caster type side, and I just like that's the kind of character I tend to like to play. But I always had a love for the people who play those people who are like, you know what, I'm gonna go out there with my fists and I'm gonna get work done. So I've always kind of had definitely a fair amount of respect for that, and I've always wanted to see someone take it, you know, further than what people would expect them to be able to take it. Like to not rely on fancy blast or, you know, stuff like that, like your cosmic energies or anything like that. Like no, they just found a way to move faster and hit harder than everybody else, and they're doing it at a level where they're surpassing their own like biological limits. So I think that's kind of like in the same tone as exploring the mystic side of real world, like exploring that side, like finding out if there's other KO, like KO Ken is the thing we know from DBZ. Who's to say there isn't like all these other techniques out there that are like KO Ken that we just haven't explored, that do different things, that do things better or something like that. So yeah, it was definitely said in jest, but I mean I also agree with you, but I also think like there's a certain beauty in just moving fast and hitting hard and knocking people out, because like you said, like I think of a lot of the things with the good guys, like you tend to punch up, and as a good guy you're not out, like Superman's not out there on a day-to-day basis. The most memorable Superman comics aren't him stopping some dude with a gun pointed at like some civilian. Like, yeah, he could do that effortlessly. Like, that's just kind of like another day. But like the epic parts of it is whenever he's fighting like the dark sides, or crazy people like that, or Brainiac, things along those lines. And I mean, like, even though Lex Luthor is the main villain. Getting off topic, but the point I was trying to make is, as heroes, we tend to try to punch up. Superman's a bad example because Superman doesn't punch up to everyone, because Superman is everything in the comic world and horribly overpowered and kind of poorly written, in my opinion. Different topic entirely. We're getting off that, but yeah, like I said, I think like there's a certain beauty in the pureness of moving fast and hitting hard, and having someone take it to another level. And I think if anyone could do it, as far as like how far along they are in their game and reaching those physical limits, like Haiku would probably be the best candidate for it. So like that's something, and you might be able to, you might not want to put it into play, but like something you might be able to actually explore for Haiku is to like seek out different techniques that allow you to pass your biological limits. And we'll have him be the fastest moving, hardest hitting PC character that there is and ever will be. Alright, I'm going to stop there before I do the next video, so we'll put them in parts.